Hi there. So I've been wanting to do this style of cup for a bit. Just a regular old coffee mug. So this has a weird bottom to it. This is just an Ozark Trail from Walmart. So before I do anything other than obviously my base paint, which is not very good right here, kind of irritated with that, I'm actually going to put some epoxy right here because I don't want this super duper obvious and visible for this ink swirl plan for this one. I think I'm going to do mostly I think I'm going to do this one black and gray again and white. I really like how the browns turned out, so I may end up doing that, especially since it's a coffee mug. Apparently I have purple ink or purple paint on my hand. It's getting all over this thing. Oh well, we're going to cover it up. So anyways, before I do anything, I'm just going to mix up probably like 10 mLs to do some other stuff too, but I'll just pour some right there to just kind of let it flatten out. Just because this is one of those do not remove stickers. I'm not a rebel. No, I'm just kidding. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the vacuum properties, but it's not worth risking it. I did take one of those type stickers off of a wine glass once from them, and it definitely rattled shortly after. So that's what I'm going to do first before we get anywhere else on this video. All right, so we are ready to do the inks now. I have this nice and secure because we're about to lift it up. So earlier, or a couple days ago, I kind of put some epoxy on there just so that it would smooth that out. I actually have another one of these cups that label was on really crooked, and I'm not so sure that it's going to turn out quite like I want it to as far as the smoothness goes, but we'll find out. I like my thing to turn a certain way, so I have to sometimes do this. So this is going to be weird because it has the handle, but not impossible. And we're putting this on not super duper thick, but not thin either. You don't want it falling off right now, but you also don't want it so thin that it can't move. Hopefully that makes plenty of sense. So I like to start off with a thinner layer and then kind of add to it from there. I've only done a couple cups with handles on them, and they're not my favorite, but I got these on a good price, so thought it was worth giving it a shot. We're going to work around that in a minute. So this one, we're actually going to use a silver mixative. I'm going to show you how easily it can overpower your cup. And I'm only going to use a couple of ink colors, just because with the silver, I feel like it might be easy for it to clash if I have too many colors. So we're just gonna kind of make sure we get all the spots. You can see some purple handprints from, I had spray paint on my hand the other day when I picked it up. Oops. But we're about to cover that up, so it doesn't really matter. Make sure when you're doing inks or any kind of work, you've got your surface protected. This is just wax paper. Some people use silicone mats, some people use paper. You've seen me, if you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen me use scrapbook paper before. I tried doing a silicone mat, and where it's easy to clean in some regards, it's a lot harder to clean on some other things. And maybe it's just me not working it right, but I feel like I could never get all the glitter off of it. I'm probably just broken in that way. This is not my usual turner. My usual turner is occupied right now, so I'm kind of winging it with this little mini turner. I guess they don't make these anymore. I got 2 of these for a really, really good price. And I've tried checking the link to share, and it says it doesn't exist anymore. So I don't know if they just don't do it anymore, or if they had too many that they sold at a ridiculously low price that it kind of messed them up, or what? Because I got this for $15, and it came with 2 arms and 2 sets of the foam insert that can be kind of cut down and sized accordingly, however you need it to be. All right, I feel like my epoxy is already starting to set up. That tends to happen when I have my heat lamp too close to my epoxy to get it nice and runny. So we're gonna work quick on this one. So I'm gonna set aside just a teeny bit, oopsie, we don't want that on there. I'm gonna set aside just a teeny bit of epoxy. I started with 20 milliliters. I say that wrong the first time, every time. I say a lot of words really weird. Anyway, so I used all but 2.5. So we're gonna smooth that out just a bit. Do that, kind of get that around here. I'm gonna make sure we don't have any dry spots for sure. Make sure it's in the logo. I don't typically like having the ones with the raised logos, but I got 2 packs of these for like $7 and stripped them down, and it was worth a shot. All right, so that's all we're gonna do there. Make sure and have your mask handy too for when we heat up the epoxy to get movement. That's something I did not do, so now I'm ready. All right, so I'm gonna start with Bria Reese Magenta, medium magenta it says. Just drop, 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 wherever you want it. Oopsie. It is gonna be kind of tricky, but you have to make sure and get onto the handle as well. I think I'm gonna do majority of this cup darker colors, my purple and my blue, and that way it'll kind of offset the silver just a little bit. Next is turquoise. I didn't do a very good job on my base paint. Hopefully that doesn't bite me in the rear end, because it might. It's been so wet and windy lately that I'm having a really hard time doing any kind of spray paint job. I ordered a turntable, like a Lazy Susan, and I am on the lookout for a little kitty tent, like a play tent. Okay, I got a little heavy-handed with the inks just now. That's okay. All right, next, purple. It's turning purple in some of these spots already, the blue and the pink, but that's okay. I'm surprised it's not turning more green because of the red tones and the blue tones, but that's all right. I'm not real worried about it because once we get that silver on there, it's kind of gonna mask most of the mistakes anyways. Trying to drop some on the back of the handle here. Oh, wow, that came out so fast. I wasn't gonna do any white on this one, but I changed my mind just now. I'm gonna do just a little bit to kind of soften up some of those colors. Just shake it up really good because I haven't done that before and it's bitten me in the rear end. Golly, it's almost stuck shut. All right, and get the clumps off of there. I'm just wiping this off. Kind of gross. It's got flakes and sometimes that gets on the cup. So I'm just going to do very sporadic drops. Not too many. I don't want it overwhelming on the cup. I did see a spot right here that I did not get enough epoxy on, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of that right now before we start moving anything. All right, I'm going to toss this glove. So now I'm going to throw on my mask because we're about to heat it up a little bit. And once I get those swirled just a little bit, we'll add the silver mixative. This was just plain pinata. I use a lot of this. I need to find the bigger bottles because this ½ ounce just isn't cutting it. All right, so we've got our heat gun. Ah! Oh, my stuff got tangled up. I don't want to heat it to the point that it scorches it. I just want it enough that we get some movement. You can kind of see those colors starting to spread now. That's about what we're looking for. I don't want it too hot because then it'll just blend too much. We're going to take this off. And we're going to do some vertical movement. Got it up and down, up and down. Just going to do that. Kind of swirl it around. It's not quite moving enough. Keep an eye on your epoxy whenever you're doing this, because you don't want it falling off the cup, really. Not the end of the world if it does. It's just not what we're aiming for here. But we just want it to move. I kind of forgot to give the handle any attention. All right, so up and down, just like that. I'm just wanting to kind of give it some movement so it's not just blobs of color. This is the Alicia method, and I just actually saw her post on a Facebook group. If you'll search hashtag Alicia method, the way that hashtag is spelled is A-L-I-C-I-A. I'm not sure that's how she spells her name, but that's all right. Doesn't really matter. That's what it's hashtagged as. All right, so we're going to turn this back on before it starts dropping. And we're going to use our silver mixative. Shake, shake, shake. This will take over the cup if you're not careful. It's almost like it floats on top. So I don't want a lot. And I really don't want it on top of my white spots because I really like those white spots how they are. All right. So now that's all I'm going to do. I do not want that any more than it already is. And now we're going to get this hot again, because we're going to do the same thing that we just did. You really have to watch that you don't do too many of those, because it will definitely overpower your cup. So we're just going to up and down it again, just so that that epoxy kind of overruns some of that silver there. Sorry, I'm breathing heavy in this thing. Sounds like Darth Vader on my side. Hopefully it doesn't sound like that on yours. So now I'm going to take my pink again, and drop it right in the middle of that silver. Just to kind of break it up. It gets overpowering really easily. See how it's kind of floating up on top of it? I don't know if you can see that in the video or not. I'll throw some pink right there in the middle too. Oops. And back off again. And just movement. Up and down, up and down, up and down. The silver is pretty much going to stay mostly on top of your cup. Unfortunately, it tends to float when you use it this way versus probably mixing it in epoxy is probably better. But this is how I've always used it. It's still really pretty when it's done, just different. I don't know if you can see that or not. It just kind of does what it wants. I really love those little swirls right there. But they probably won't look like that when it's all said and done. Just going to move my silver a little bit more. I don't know if you can tell, but every time I use this heat gun, it messes with my power supply. Like it makes my lights go dim. I don't know if it shows up on screen or not, but it's really annoying. One of these days when my shed is finished out, it will be, I'll have direct electricity, but right now I just have to run on power cord, extension cords. I'm actually going to raise this up a bit. There we go. That should be easier to see now. So I'm just kind of letting it do its thing. Up and down, up and down. You can see a few spots where my epoxy dripped off because I tilted it too long in one direction. But that's okay. And my inks kind of dripped off. Sometimes they do like this little somersault and they just bounce right off. I don't have any color right there. That's kind of frustrating. Let's see if we can't take care of that. So, laws of gravity. Whenever you hold it still like this, it will flow to the bottommost point of the cup. And that's what I'm doing on purpose right now. You just have to watch it because this handle right there, it just dripped off right there. There, that got us a little bit more color. Let me go this way now. Just slow as molasses. I finally have some a blob of color coming where I need it. So now I'm going to rotate to manipulate it so that that is kind of staying where I want it. But at the same time, you have to watch all the other spots. So we're going to go down like that. See that? I think I'm going to throw a little color. It's going to sink right to the bottom, so I'm not super worried about it. I'm going to add a little bit of color right there. Kind of manipulate it that way, get it underneath there. Because that silver really does just float right on top of it. Yeah, okay. I'm going to soften up those edges with a little heat real quick. That ink is pretty much going to slide right underneath that silver. Whatever this looks like when you walk away from it, it's not going to look like that in an hour. So try not to fall in love with whatever you see right away, because it's not going to stay. Now I did notice this white spot right here. So I'm going to actually scoop up this little bit right here that was on the paper. Just fill it in, because I don't want any dry spots, honestly. Do it in a couple of spots that I noticed. Some people are paranoid about touching it, but I probably end up touching almost all my inks. I shouldn't, but sometimes it's necessary. Had some that turned out so cool after touching them. Okay, that's all I'm going to do on the touching part. So now we are going to sit it back on the turner, or attach it back on the turner, not sit it. And we're going to walk away for about an hour. And then I'll come and show you what it looks like in about an hour. This looks so cool in person. I wish it was like as visible in person as it is, I mean on screen as it is in person. So that's what we're looking at right now. That silver is just right on top, just like I said it would be. And it has a mind of its own for sure. So we're going to slip it right back on here. I'm not used to this tiny thing. We're going to let it rotate. If you have a area that's ventilated or has a air vent or a fan or anything like that, make sure that your whatever you have on the bottom, whether it's wax paper or anything like that, make sure it's pinned down, because I have seen post after post after post where something lifted the base and then it wrapped around the cup and it ruined it. It's always so sad to see that. But we're going to let this ride round and round and round for a little while, and we'll be back in about an hour to check it out, because it really won't be moving much more after an hour. I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so this has been turning for about an hour, and you can see that the silver is definitely more of a floating on top kind of end result. That's okay. I definitely don't have it symmetrical, and that's okay too. That's what's so great about alcohol inks, is you cannot use, you cannot make two cups identical. It's just, I can't imagine how that would ever be possible. So just to recap, this was using a mixative like it's an alcohol ink, and kind of what that end result is. So the colors used, once again, are purple, turquoise, magenta that I just got all over my hand, pinata white, and silver mixative. And I know that I showed y'all at the very beginning of this video that I had put epoxy on the bottom to kind of smooth out where they had that sticker. The sticker originally looked like that. We painted it. This one I've actually already added epoxy to. This one's on here crooked, so it's not quite right. But I wanted to show you how smooth that bottom looks compared to what it would have looked like if that sticker was still visible. So once again, that is alcohol inks and silver mixative, with using that mixative like it is an ink. And I know there's other ways to do it, and I do plan on experimenting with those at some point. I'm gonna add that to my list of things to do. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop a comment. I'll try my best to answer them. I do try and keep up with the comments, and sometimes I don't get notifications if there's a reply on that comment, and I'm so sorry if I've missed anyone's replies on there. But if you like what you saw, please subscribe to my channel. If you don't mind, thumbs up the video. That would be really, really great. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one.